So for her skin tone, I have here yellow ochre, burnt sienna, and this burnt sienna is Winsor & Newton. If you don't have Winsor & Newton, use cadmium red light, ultramarine violet for the shadow, and white. Okay, so now I mixed, this mixture is burnt sienna, yellow ochre. So the yellow ochre in the skin tone in burnt sienna will tip the color into more of a, it will take away the reddish color from the burnt sienna, and white. Not too much white, kind of medium. So I like to start with medium and then take it from there. Okay, I'm ignoring the eyes and eyebrows for now. I just want to get the general. Her nose. Okay, chin, forehead. And now I'm gonna bring in a bit of ultramarine violet into that mixture. So more like, it will give me a brown color with not the whole mixture, just on the side, because I'm not gonna need a lot. And I'm just gonna put some darken a bit certain areas with ultramarine violet. Ultramarine violet mixed with this mixture will give you not a burnt umber, but a good enough dark skin tone for the neck and for the back of the her back, this area too, whatever I see in the picture, dark skin tone. Okay, so this is where the eye is, so I'm going to put a bit of dark in there, just kind of like this, and then I will work on the on doing a kind of a good detail in there. But for now, it's perfect. Just gonna wipe my brush. I'm not gonna clean it. I'm just gonna wipe it. Pick up medium tone again. I mean, she's wearing I think a bra or something. I'm not sure, but we're gonna keep it the way it is. Now this is medium tone. I'm gonna put it here in the front of the arm. Front of the arm. I'll stop in a minute. Right here. This is where the light is. This is where the light is, right here. Okay, good. More. Her tummy area. Again, this area here with the medium tone, because I can go back and highlight after. Okay. Hand, medium color. Okay. I'm going to go back to the dark. So I'm going to pick up a bit more of the ultramarine violet and darken the other side of the arm down here. And the arm behind. There's another arm right there. The other one in the back. Okay, a little bit right here. And I would say down here, in here. Right, her feet. And I'm going to stop. Because we're going to have the railing in here, so there's no point spending too much time on this. But, you know, a bit of detail doesn't hurt. Just a bit of, you know, highlights and darks. So let's take white, put it in the medium tone. First leg, first foot, second one. It's easier to work from medium to dark, light. Medium is there, it's helpful. Now, more highlights, I put more white, so I'm highlighting the arm, shoulder kind of, and arm right here. I already have medium tone there, so it's good. This is more like a highlight. And no need to have a lot of detail in here. Forehead, nose, there. So the first time what I did is I put a dark kind of area here. In this area, dark brush stroke, which is just a burnt sienna, yellow ochre, ultramarine violet, a bit of white, of course, in this. And I just kind of put a dark brush stroke. Then now what I did, once I'm highlighting the forehead, because the forehead comes out, I'm highlighting also in between, in that dark area, I'm highlighting in between, leaving in the center, highlighting this. This is her eyelid, because she's looking down at the coffee mug she's using. She's looking down at it. So that gives me really good, it looks very good for showing her eye closed. This is hard. This is really hard because it's tiny, tiny, but it's okay. I like the challenge. Doesn't work, it's okay. If it doesn't work, you go back. I went back now. I put a bit of darker burnt umber, or just burnt umber kind of. And then now I'm highlighting again, fixing it, highlighting it. Okay. Bit here. Because I changed the way she's holding the mug, it's a bit tricky. Again, a bit of highlight in here. So it dries darker, that's okay. I go back and I wait for it to dry and then I highlight again. And that's her tummy area. More highlights. I'll show you what I did with the eye. So what I did with the eye is something like this. I just went in the dark. This is nose. Jeez, hard to do this with the. So what it is, I went in with the dark color, not very dark. It's just kind of, it has a bit of white in it here. I'll highlight it a bit because it's not that dark. It's just a shade kind of darker than the, and not too thick. Once it's dry, of course, I put more white and I went in and I just did this. Oh, geez. Kind of this. So what I ended up with, this is the eyelid. This is the eyebrow, and this are the eyelashes right here. So because it's on a small area, it worked out. Of course, there's no heavy detail in there. So let's say this is, I want to put eyebrows. Her eyebrows will be here. And eyelashes. This is her, you can see right now, you can see that her eyes are closed. So that's what I did. Right, I'm gonna try to put the handle in right here. I'm using white, ultramarine violet, and a bit of yellow ochre. Now, the reason I did not use just white is just because the handle is higher over here and lower at the bottom. So I want to show some shadows and highlights. And if I use white, I can't do that. So my first layer is a combination of white, yellow ochre, and ultramarine violet. Now, that's my first layer. Now I'm going to take white, put it in the same mixture, and just I'm going to come here and then highlight this part only, the upper part. That will make the handle looks like it's tapered in. Bottom part of the mug is darker than the upper part. put a what I would do also is put a bit of a shadow where her hand is, underneath right next to the mug, the handle of the mug. So I'm using ultramarine violet and burnt sienna and make it into a glaze and just put it right here. So it doesn't look like the handle is stuck to her hand. It's better. Okay, so skin tone, I'm going to darken. So I'm taking burnt sienna and ultramarine violet, really dark, just to push the shadow in more, shadowy area, which is here. Okay, with water. Also right here. I take a bit of a skin tone, put it in, and then soften it a bit now. I'm just softening the lines between the light and dark. Acrylic dries harsh. So you constantly need to go back and adjust, especially for skin tone. I mean, for other things, that's okay, but skin tone, you need a bit of softness in there. It's amazing when you're working on something, when you're painting and you're observing your reference, you see different things than when you're just looking at it. You see different details than when you're looking at it, just looking. Just what, you know, you go into details more. And values. Okay. Okay, so the chin area here, I think needs to go down a bit in this way. That's better. Okay. Okay, hair part, I'm going to use burnt umber. And for highlights, I'm going to highlight with yellow ochre. So first layer, burnt umber. Just burnt umber. On this side. Okay. My brush. Let it dry. Meanwhile, I'll darken a bit with ultramarine violet, my burnt umber. And I'm gonna put her hair in the back. This is perfect. Right, so her hair in the back is darker than her hair in the front, and this burnt umber looks very good. It's a great color. So to highlight it, I have a choice of adding a bit of yellow ochre to my burnt umber. Water it down a bit. So that's what I'm doing, adding, let's see if it works. Okay, needs a bit of white. Again, more white in my burnt umber. I don't want to have too much of a highlights, just a bit. Actually, even if we don't, it'll be fine. Okay, this is right now too light, but that's okay. I'm not worried about that because I'm going to glaze all of this after. I just need that strong highlight, and I'll glaze it with burnt umber once it's dry, and it'll be fine. It just gives me that shiny kind of. Now burnt umber, like a glaze. Okay, let it dry. It seriously, like, it needs to dry before I, because if I keep doing this, I'm gonna ruin the whole thing. I'm just gonna glaze this part because I used white and burnt umber and a bit of burnt yellow ochre. So now it's dry, I can glaze it. And that's what I'm doing. I'm just glazing it with burnt umber. Glaze with a bit of a lot more water in there. So that's good. Let's just got rid of that light white color that was here. But once it's dry, it will look, this part will look light, still light, but it's not white. It has that warm burnt umber color in there. So since I'm recording, I'm just gonna I have all the colors I need. So if we're gonna do this in red, I'm gonna use, I'm just gonna use cadmium red light and add to it burnt umber. It will give me that a toned down brownish red. It's a good color.
Sorry, that's just burnt umber, you said?
No, it's burnt umber with cadmium red light.
Oh, okay, sorry.
Okay. Okay, it's perfect. It's really good. It's a bit of red that's going to it's going to look really nice with the blue of the jeans. I think the blue of the jeans, I'm going to use cerulean blue and Payne's gray and white. I'm just mixing cerulean blue, Payne's gray. I'm going to put the first layer. I'm gonna work as if there's no railing, and I'll put the railing over that. Okay. So this is more like a mid-tone again. And from there, I will go back to highlighting, darkening. The mid-tone will give me a good idea of the shape. I have to just turn it around for 1 minute. Okay. All right, now for some highlights. You take white, add it to that combo of burnt sienna, cerulean blue and Payne's gray, just some white. And I'm just gonna put some highlights in here. Highlight her jeans. Let's keep it back. Okay, so now we have kind of a bit of detail in here. And again, I'll just let it dry and I'll assess from there. Like I'll figure out what, once it's dry, what it needs. If it needs more highlights, more darks, detail. Don't want to put too much detail, just a suggestion of what's happening in here. Again, I'm just gonna go All right, that's good detail. And I think it's good enough. I don't need more than this. Maybe a tiny bit of where the belt goes. Okay. Bottom part, I'm not really concerned about that because the railing is going to come and it's going to cover most of this detail. So